My name is Lonnie Hull. I'm the founder and CEO and the designer for Structure Cycleworks. And I basically designed this bike with the goal in mind of separating steering, suspension, and braking forces from one another at the front and making the bike more stable, not less, particularly under braking. So when you apply the brakes on this bike, it dives 40% less, and because it's pivoting on bearings, it's always able to handle new suspension impacts. As it goes through the travel range, it slackens about 8 degrees, and that slackening elongates the trail, so it becomes more stable the harder you push the bike. And it really always feels like the front is out there supporting you, and it's compliant and it's responsive, but at the same time the bike's just begging for more and more and more. Until you ride it, you almost can't believe it. From a geometry perspective, we're in the long, low, slack category for sure. Our mid-size frame has about 470 mil reach, and then we're about 5'10" for the large size frame. So we're definitely out there. We start at 66 degrees, static head tube angle, but it actually slackens out to 58 degrees at full compression. So this comparison would be a downhill bike starting at 62 and ending up at 73. They really steepen quite a bit. As far as it goes, it's boost front and rear. We've got about a 13 mil bottom bracket drop, and so it's standard range. Really, we made the frame pretty wild, but everything that hangs on it is totally normal. And the bearings can be driven out through the frame. They're all collated through axles, the same as on the rear of most bikes, about 250 hours between services, and it's really easy to service them, and you'll never have to do a front fork service ever again.
And then availability or price on this?
So availability, we're shipping the first bikes in August, and then the smaller and larger sizes will be a couple months after that. But the price for the frame set, which includes the two shocks and the fork, will be $59.95 US. And then for our first build, about $8,700. And for our top end build, which is pretty sweet, it's 100 bikes only, numbered frames, and they come in a shipping piece of luggage that you can transport your bike in repeatedly, and park tool, MT40, and some other goodies that come with the bike. That costs a little over 10 grand. Yeah.
Nice.
So definitely not the top of the market. We're trying to make it accessible to people, but it costs a lot to make, for sure.
And you guys gonna have any demo tours this year? Anywhere specific people can?
Yeah, for sure. We'll be running a bunch of demos at Crankworks at Whistler this year, so we'll have a bunch of bikes for that. And yeah, we invite people to come for that, and we'll be doing demos in Alberta where we developed the bike, and then moving around from dealership to dealership.